The Blockhaus de Epaulettes is a remarkable piece of World War II history. In March 1943, Germans had started building this giant bunker in northwest France. Its location was close to the small town of Watton, so it is also sometimes called the Watton Bunker. The bunker was never completed as the Germans intended. It was discovered while construction was still in progress and was reportedly bombed by the Allies. Blockhaus de Epaulettes was intended to serve two main purposes. One was that it would be used as a factory to produce liquid oxygen. During the Second World War, liquid oxygen used as a propellant to launch missiles. More importantly, the bunker would also be a site for launching missiles. It would be able to store 100 ballistic missiles and would be able to launch up to 36 missiles a day. The intended targets of these missiles were London and the south of England. The bunker's location in northwest France brought this area within range of the missiles, and it was only 110 miles from London. The location was also ideal because it was on the route of two railway lines running between St. Omer and Calais. This would make it easy to bring materials and missiles to the bunker. The location was well hidden because of the surrounding Epaulettes forest. The area was also stocked in the resources needed to construct a major, well-defended building. There were sand and gravel quarries nearby, as well as a cement factory. Other construction materials could be brought in to the site by rail. And of course, this all had to be done without being discovered by the Allies. The project was given the code name Kraftwerk Nordwest, the Northwest Power Plant, to keep its true purpose as a missile launch site hidden. As so many men were needed to build this giant construction, more recruits were brought in from prisoner of war camps. These included Belgian, Dutch, Polish, and Soviet, as well as French prisoners of war. The building of the blockhouse involved somewhere between 2,000 and 3,000 men. They were forced to work under appalling conditions. Building went on 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Giant flood lamps were used to keep the men working through the night. They worked 12-hour shifts and only got a 20-minute break during their shift. Under these conditions, it was not surprising that the workers sometimes became ill or got injured. But they received no medical attention and many died. Those who survived their injuries were unable to work and sent back to their camps. It was no easy task to keep construction projects on this scale a secret. It wasn't long before suspicion was aroused. In 1943, the Allies became aware of the activity in the area and set out to investigate. The Allies did not know what the Germans planned to use the bunker for, but given the amount of effort that was going into this construction, they realised it must be a pretty important project. They decided that the safest option was to assume the worst and destroy it before the Germans put their plan, whatever that might be, into action. The first attack took place on the 27th of August 1943. It was carried out by a B-17 Flying Fortress from the US 8th Air Force. The attack was planned precisely so that it would strike while a new batch of concrete was still wet, causing it to spread everywhere. It then set firm, making a large part of the building completely unusable. The timing had also been planned to coincide with the break between shifts in order to minimise casualties. But because of the pressure to get through the day's work, the shift pattern had been changed. As a result, the attack killed hundreds of workers. The Germans did not give up on the facility right away, although it could no longer be used as a missile launch site. They did continue to use it to produce the liquid oxygen they required. The Allies returned with further attacks. The final decisive air raid took place in July 1944, when they dropped a tall boy bomb. This was one of the recently developed earthquake bombs. The bunker received irreparable damage. Most of the work of producing liquid oxygen was then moved to another site. By the time the site was finally captured on the 4th of September 1944, it had been abandoned. The pumps which had been used to keep water out had been turned off and the bunker had flooded.